Hey guys, this is Raiben once again, and this is just a little vlog type thing-ishness, I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do, so I've got a couple things I kind of want to talk about, and we'll watch me put on what I'm calling Raibenite on this ship, simply because after getting the ship essentially build blocked, possibly stolen, it's probably a good idea that I, protect it from that. I've been taking the opportunity as best I can to not have it in a public sector unless I am there in God mode. But nevertheless, can't be too safe. I'll probably end up working, I believe this has me working on some of the engines and stuff like that too, which is pretty cool. New build update coming out pretty soon with this as well, as soon as I finish up the back end, so that it actually, looks nice. But I've been working on it a lot. It's been a fun build, but yeah. So actually, the first thing I really wanted to talk about was the whole getting the ship build blocked. And the reason I want to talk about it, and I'm going to try to put it to bed after this, I don't really want to talk about it anymore unless somebody has points that they want to raise. And if they do, that's fine. But after this is, it's my 2 cents. I've thought about it a lot. I didn't want to, react negatively without a reason, without really, thinking stuff through. It just doesn't make sense to do that. So I'm not trying to put anybody on blast. Nothing like that. It happened. It's life. Whatever. But let's talk about the circumstances a little bit, about why I think it might happen. And I think that there's a couple reasons. One, we all know that there are trolls, so I'm not even going to count them. They're trolls. We all know this. It happens. People are dicks. So if that was the reasoning behind it, fine, whatever. Nobody can do anything about that. It's life. However, I think that there's possibly another reason. And I don't want to sound conceited saying this, but I'm a maybe not well-known YouTuber, but I'm known enough in the StarMade community. I run the charity live streams. I do a lot of I've been in all the Q&As and stuff like that. So people know me, and people know my ships, apparently, and for some reason y'all seem to like some of them, so that's kind of cool. And the Arturius has been a well-known ship, a very well-known ship lately, and that's my own fault. I promote it like crazy, and the whole reason that I've been doing the whole build updates and stuff like that is to kind of give you guys some insight on how I go about doing things, and maybe it'll be helpful for one of y'all. If it helps even one person, then cool. And it's fun. It's kind of a nice way for me to actually sit there and say, oh, so this is actually how I do it. I don't think about this stuff that much, so it's kind of nice to be able to say, oh, so that's how I do this. This is why I do that. It forces me to think about what I'm doing and why. And I think there's some good things to be said for that. I really do. So that's kind of why I've been doing it. Unfortunately, it means that it's a very maybe not popular, but it's a well-known ship, and there are some people out there that kind of have a gotta catch 'em all mentality, as Tomino pointed out to me very, very well. And here's the thing. If let's assume that you have a ship, or that you've got that mentality. I'm not going to speak to if it's a good mentality or a bad mentality or anything. I don't care. Let's just look at the facts. If you decide, okay, this ship is still work in progress, I want it because it's a popular ship, nobody else has it, and in my case, I don't release that many ships, and I need to get better about doing that. I tend to have a problem where I guess it's a problem for me in a way. I don't like to release things that I feel are unfinished, and that's kind of why I have not been doing so, unfortunately. I'm going to try to get better about that. I'll probably release some stuff this next week or so. Just to try to make up for that, guys. Sorry about that. I know some of y'all actually like what I do, and I want to give you guys the opportunity to fly around and check out what I do and be able to, you know, see it firsthand, which I figured might be a nice thing. But here's the thing. If you see, let's say, the Arturius, we'll use this as an example because it's a recent example, and you see it there, it's work in progress, it's factioned, in this case, and all, and now we do have a server rule that allows you, if it's an unfactioned ship, you can just take it. That's fine. Take it, strip it down for blocks, whatever. And if I hadn't factioned it, that would have been my own fault, and I am fully okay with that. But I did faction it, and I left it in a recording sector, which was kind of a dick move to pull that out, in my opinion. That's all I'm going to say on that particular note. But what you're basically doing is you're shooting out the faction module first, so you're destroying part of the ship, and it's a work in progress. So you're destroying somebody's work in order to get a well-known ship. So you're partially destroying it first. On top of that, what you end up doing is actually making it so that that person now has a higher likelihood of not finishing that ship. It's kind of like if you were to write a story and you're not ready for anybody to see it because it's unfinished, or you're not ready for anybody to purchase it or buy it or whatever, would you take that book that they've been working on and just say, no, fuck you, this is mine now, I want it, therefore me? It doesn't make much sense to me, and unfortunately it does kind of dishearten people, and that's a problem. And maybe builders need to have thicker skin, but at the same time you could kind of think about it as you're actively making it so that builders don't want to build anymore. And I won't lie, I had to take a break for a couple days on the Arturius in a way. You know, I mean, I kind of did a little bit of work, but it is disheartening, unfortunately. So that's kind of the downside there. And so, I mean, if you want to have the gotta catch 'em all attitude, that's fine. But maybe, you know, you kind of gotta respect the people that, if you like their stuff, if the reason that you're trying to get their stuff is because you like it, why are you destroying their work? Why are you making it so that they may not want to finish the ship? Now, I understand it with something like the Argus, where it was a fully built ship, and that one got stolen. Admittedly, no, the guy who ended up taking it, he deleted the blueprint and everything once I talked to him and all. He was a good guy, and sometimes mistakes happen, and that was completely my fault. I left it unfactioned out in a sector. I didn't think somebody would go out there, and they did, and that's my fault, 100%. But in this case, I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing, weird situation. Anyway, so that's kind of my 2 cents on it. I don't really want to dig into it too much, simply because it's kind of depressing, to be honest, and we don't really need that. But at the same time, just recognize the consequences of your actions, because they're there. There are consequences to your actions, and you need to recognize that. And if you don't, you're gonna run out of ships. You're gonna run out of ships to steal to begin with, so that doesn't really help. And there's a reason that we're calling it ship theft, essentially. That is kind of what it is. So yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I'm gonna end it there. I don't really want to talk about that anymore. What I do want to talk about is I want to give a big thank you to Lichgrave. I have a new sound system coming in soon, so hopefully, the whole vocals and all that will start sounding better very, very soon. So that'll be really nice. I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be a lot easier for me to actually have the mic you know, something close to my face-ish, so that the sound actually goes there and it doesn't sound like I'm talking, you know, from forever away, which is kind of what it feels like. There might be some bugs. I'll probably do a live stream trying to figure out everything and get some help with that, so definitely check that out. But yeah, that should be showing up this weekend / early next week, maybe even get a few pieces of it tomorrow. But yeah, I'll definitely give you guys an update and tell you what I'm using. I don't know off the top of my head right now, but that's okay. The third thing that I wanted to talk about, and I just wanted to brush over that a little bit right there, but the third thing is I've been playing a lot of Robocraft lately. There's a video that should be coming out today at some point. I don't know if it's already out or not. I'm recording this as that one's rendering. I don't know what order I'm going to put them out in, but there's I kind of did a little review-esque video, my first impressions. Definitely check that out. Give me your feedback. I'd like to know if I should do more videos like that, or if it just kind of if it needs to be shorter, if I should just stop altogether, because those are all valid opinions, and I'm very interested to know what you guys think. It was kind of fun to do, though. It was interesting. And Robocraft has been it's a lot of fun. It's think World of Tanks mixed with Star Made. I'm just gonna leave it there. That's kind of what it is. But it's a good time. It's more PvP focused. It's actually completely PvP focused. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. The last thing that I do want to talk to you guys about is the next charity live stream. So this is something I've been thinking about for a long time. I enjoy doing these a lot. It's a lot of fun, and it's for a good reason. At least I think it is. At the moment, I don't have a charity. I'm looking for. I've got a few topics that I'd like to address, because I can actually speak to them. You know, I've been looking at a few charities that help with depression, suicide prevention, things like that. Things that I've had to deal with in my life, both personally and professionally, as I've stood plenty of suicide watches over the years. I've had depression. I've been on medication. I've done all that stuff. Unfortunately, for me, I guess it's not a sob story or anything like that. But you know, these are facts. So you know, I can kind of speak to it, and it's a rough situation to be in. And I think that doing a charity live stream to benefit that would be really, really cool. Your guys' input is greatly appreciated. I don't have a date yet. Probably something like not this weekend, maybe next weekend or the weekend after. It really depends. There's some other really cool projects that are coming up, and it's all dependent on when the new crafting patch and all that stuff comes out. Maybe we'll do the live stream in concert with that release. I don't know. It's sort of up in the air, but I would definitely love to get your guys' opinion on that. That's one of those things that you know, it gives me warm and fuzzies to do, and I really, really enjoy helping other people out. That's sort of, it's one of those things. I don't know. It's just part of, I guess, my nature. I don't want to sound like I'm all high and mighty, or you know, better than anybody, or better than thou sort of mentality, but it's something I enjoy doing. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions or anything, that's kind of the topic I want to focus on with this one. And I'll probably cover it again closer to Christmas, simply because that is a really rough time. But even right now, I know of some people that, you know, go through that sort of deal, myself included, actually, unfortunately. But yeah, I do want to say thank you guys for being, you know, for watching and everything. It's really cool. It's kind of a, I mean, it's a pick-me-up every day, seeing, you know, you guys enjoy my videos. If there's any I guess I'll open the floodgates and say if you guys have any suggestions or anything like that, I'd be fine to take them. I don't know how often I'll do one of these vlogs, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, maybe never again, I don't know. But if you guys want to see more like that, of these sort of things, if you guys want me to do this more often, that'd be cool. I do have... I might have a little story for y'all too, just to close out something that was kind of funny from way back when. Alright, so typically on the Mushroom Fleet, we used to have something called Story Time with Apex, which was usually very disgusting, very terrifying stories. But they were funny. I mean, let's give them props, they were funny. And then one day, Apex and I kind of got into a story war, and I dug out some sea stories from way back when. And I thought it'd be kind of funny to talk about one of them that had come to mind recently. I talked to a friend a little while back about some stuff that we did way back when. And so I used to work at a hospital in Japan, a Navy hospital, and we would slowly, deliberately stockpile gallon jugs of stuff called Surgilube, which is it's a surgical lubricant, basically. It's used for surgeries, for all sorts of medical procedures. It's all over the place over there. And usually they're in these little packets. They almost look like ketchup, like the long mayonnaise packets. It's kind of what they look like. But there are actual gallon jugs that you can get as well. And if you've ever seen, you know, the mega slip-in slides where they get like body oil or soapy water or something like that, some sort of lubricant to make them fly down the ramp just a little bit faster. Well, we had the same idea. So I think in total something like, what, 26 to 30 gallons were liberated, for lack of a better term. And we had this hill out behind the barracks, and it was this very, very steep hill. It was something, I think it was a very high gradient. I can't even remember exactly what it was, but suffice it to say, you could walk up it, but you would not have a fun time doing so. It was very, very steep. So we grabbed a couple of tarps and grabbed the Surgilube and essentially created a giant slip and slide out back. Now the problem ends up being that, I mean, you have to understand, we're a whole bunch of, you know, 18 to 20 some, you know, low 20 somethings, 23, 24, about how old I am now. I was 21, I believe, at the time, 20 or 21. And we were all sitting there going, okay, let's do this. Let's do this slip and slide thing. And so we're sliding down the slide, and it occurs to us that unfortunately our clothes are what get in the way of the lubricant actually, you know, physically working. Clothes absorb too much. So after a little while, you've got about, probably a good 20 people, essentially naked or in their underwear, sliding down a hill on a tarp covered in surgical lubricant. And about this time, and mind you, this is really close to the bar too, which is great. About this time, the watch starts walking around, and we kind of got lucky because it was one of, you know, the guys, I guess you could say that was cool, one of the guys from the barracks, and he was doing his rounds, and he comes over there and starts laughing his ass off. I mean, just like bawling in laughter. And, you know, we're all sitting there going, hey, what's up, you know? I'm buck naked, sliding down a tarp with, you know, 30 people around, and 20 of us are just sliding down a tarp covered in surgical lubricant. And he basically says, look, y'all might want to break this party up. Chief's coming. And Chief, for those of you that don't know, is an E7 in the Navy. And so we hear that, and we know which Chief's on duty, and he's not the fun kind of chief, I think would be the right way to say it. He's not very understanding. You know, it is what it is. You're going to get all kinds, I guess. He's a very stern individual, so we're, you know, like breaking everything down and everything, and I think it was two guys had sort of run off to the bathroom, and because there's a barracks at the top of the hill for the TPU people, which is transient personnel, so if they're there for training, if they're there for medical stuff, but they're not typically stationed at that place, then they're TPU. Assuming that they're only there for a short period of time, and they are. They're only there usually for, you know, a couple weeks, maybe a month or two. It depends. So they had disappeared for a couple minutes to run to the bathroom. So we broke everything down and bolted. I'm not gonna lie, we just ran off to the showers, tried to wash off all this lubricant basically, and I didn't have a whole lot on me, so I just hosed off essentially, and you know, put my clothes back on and all. And so we're over at the bar, and the bar is about, I'd say, 75 to 100 feet away from this hill that we were sliding down. Mind you, this is not what you would typically see. It's not a downtown bar. It's this little bar that's just outside the barracks. It was a really chill place called the Cove. And next thing you know, Chief walks up, and we're all, "Hey, how you doing, Chief?" and all. And a couple minutes, you know, Chief's sitting there. He says hi to us, and you just see two essentially stark naked guys come out of the barracks and try to jump down the hill because they thought the tarp was still there. And so the grass is completely covered in Surgy Loop, and they go, and they just keep on going. And the look on Chief's face was absolutely priceless. I mean, oh my goodness. He literally looked at us, and we were all sitting there trying not to laugh, because obviously we knew what was going on. He had no idea. And suffice it to say, those two had a lot of explaining to do, and the rule typically is that, you know, if you're in trouble, you don't throw anybody else under the bus. And thankfully they didn't. They didn't throw any of us under the bus. But there was probably a good 30 of us just sitting there out on the little patio there, laughing so hard, and at the same time so incredibly nervous. And Chief just sort of let him off with a warning, basically saying, "You guys are idiots. Don't do this again." But yeah, that was kind of a fun one, and one of the more PG rated ones, I guess, that I could say. Anyway, so yeah, there's your story for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed recording it, but yeah, I hope to see you guys again, and as always and every time, I will see you again next time.